Okay, so dear Dhamma practitioners, this is our ongoing meditation session. Be comfortable yourself, and first we get connected with our other students from other network. So then we're ready to start the session for today. Okay, so dear Dhamma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body and keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line and your right palm on your left. So gently close your eyes and bring your attention to this bell sound. And while you focusing to the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind, and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the blessed one, the exalted one, the fully enlightened one. So dear Dhamma practitioners, before we start our practice session, as usual, we'll take few minutes to understand ourselves, how this practice will help us to develop our conventional life, and at the same time, how we can use this practice to develop, uplift our spiritual practice. So spiritual life and your physical life go hand to hand. So in the very first level, you have to work with your physical life. But at the same time that your physical life based with your mental qualities. So that mental qualities come out of the spiritual practice. So see that you have to develop your physical life. For that you have you need the mental condition. That mental condition based on the spiritual practice. So the most of time in basically in the conventional life, when you want to make a very sound decision, sometimes with this unsound world, with this unsound environment, it is very difficult for you to make a sound decision. And If your inner world unrest, if your inner world unsettled, if your inner world unsecure, if your inner world not comfortable, out of that kind of mindset, it is very difficult for you to build up kind of like a very material, physical, comfortable life. It always going to become unbalanced. And then what happens? When the storms hit, it's most of time hit to the base level, like for the material things, your physical environment. So then physically, if you destroy, if you become weaker, it's very difficult for you to spiritually become stronger. So that's why physically to be strong, you have to be mentally also strong. That means you have to spiritually become strong. So then the situations come to our life, we are more capable to handle it. Otherwise, when the situations come, the most of time we collapse. Physically, mentally, spiritually, in every way we collapse. But that way, we can't keep moving like this, because the reason is once you collapse, your life not going to be like this. It's going to be totally different. The way you think, the way you act, it's completely different. And it's not going to be you like in this very moment, you're sitting somewhere, so you are so comfortable, nobody disturbing you. So in this very moment, that as you, that what you experience inside you not going to be there when the kind of like a tornadoes hit you, when the tsunamis hit you, it's going to be totally different. When the earthquake happens, this is not going to be the same. This is all going to move, and then this is all going to shake. So in that very moment, that this who I am not going to be there. So then you can't depend on this situation. So that's why, so developing this spiritual, physical, mental abilities yourself is very necessary. And the foundation should be spiritual, but at the same time, you have to physically also work. Because if you are physically become weaker, it's very difficult to handle in this conventional life. So little by little, step by step, that to bring that strength to yourself is your practice. It's not going to come because you pray. It's not going to come because of you believe. It's not going to come because of you hope, you trust it. No, it's come by practicing. So that's why to have a very clear mind, undisturbed mind, basic level, you have to practice it. So that practicing will build up momentum, step by step to move with it. So as you know, this our life itself, it's kind of like our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, always look for something. And sometimes, when you go to events or retreats, meeting, gathering, and in that agenda, the last one, most of time we see refreshment. So what is that? Refreshment. once you interfere with something physically, mentally, spiritually, sometimes you become weak. You need strength. So refreshment is revitalizing yourself, rejuvenation yourself, gain some strength yourself. It's very necessary. So if you look very carefully, with our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, this refreshment, you always look through everything, every day. Why? Because when we interfere with this life itself, we lose most of energy. And then we gain that energy again and again, again and again. And it's sometimes that the eye deeply watching something, looking something, is gain the refreshment. And ear, sometimes hearing something, refreshment. Nose, refreshment, smelling something. Tongue, eating something, refresh. The body, associate with somebody, getting some feelings, hugging, it's refreshment. Mind, thinking again and again and again, refreshment. There's no end for this. You revitalizing, you rejuvenation, get again and again. Why this keep going like this way? There is deeper inside you that incompleteness. You have a deeper current. To be complete with engage with something. This is our nature. Each and every atom has that nature. Look for another connection. Heart, lungs, liver, kidneys, brain, this everything. Always function, connecting to another thing. That's the human body. So you have to understand fundamentally this human nature. So it's always you need your hands from the birth. You want to hold something, grasping something. So otherwise you feel kind of like it's incomplete. Your wrist, sometimes you need a watch or bracelet. It's incomplete. Otherwise, your body need a tattoo. Put a tattoo. You don't want to see kind of like a very clean skin. You want to put a tattoo. You already hold it to memory. You need something to put into you. Earring, to nose, lips, tongue, and everywhere in your body, you want to put something and you want to hold it. It's something you gain from outside. Why this? Because deeply we have, there's nothing wrong in that. That is our nature. Deeply we have this incompleteness. What's wrong with you? Why you need something to put it to your ears, nose? Why you put a piece of iron to your tongue? Why you want to put a tattoo? Why you want to put a bracelet? Why you want to hold it to something? Incomplete. While you sitting, you want to watch something. You want to hear something. Why? Incomplete. And deeply sometimes your belly start to tell, eat something, eat something. Why? Incomplete. And you get into relationship. Love is something we all appreciate. And while you are in love, and you feel kind of like you complete. So just you go with the partner, your husband, wife, for maybe a few months, not even 1 year, 2 years, no, a few months. Then if you are a mother, you feel kind of like inside your belly, you need a child. See, why? Incomplete. If you are a father, you feel kind of like you need a child in between you and your wife. Why? Incomplete. And then you get the one child. And after that, you get the one child. After a few years, you recover from that, all the difficulties. Then again, you want to refresh. Who is this refreshing? Who is this revitalizing? Who is this rejuvenation inside you? So there's a deeper nature inside this incompleteness and keep pushing us towards things. And that incompleteness take us to unbalance, unrest, unsettled, unsecure, discomfort. It's kind of like a move. It is make you movable. Listen this very carefully. Try to be with me. So that incompleteness make you to refresh. That itself make you movable. Movable means not only the physical posture, the mentally, that the state that you carry in the moment shift away from you. And that is the deeply the desire does. This is how we all are exist here. This is our journey. So you have to understand that. That is you. There's a Zen story. There was a cow. And this cow start to eat grass. And just around the house. And keep eating. And that grass finish. And it start to eat the next and next. And everything. So then all the grass is finished, and whatever come to it, it start to keep eating. And it is start to eat the gate, the fence, other trees, and the neighbors, and the house, the village, and everything eating this cow. And then you recognize you are inside this cow's body. So you are inside that cow's body. So you are the one who push this cow to eat this everything. So then how you get out of that cow? So that's a same story. And it's like a puzzle. Think about it later. How you going to get out of that cow? Because this cow keep eating everything, because you are inside this cow's belly, and that cow want to nourish you. So like that, we revitalizing this rejuvenation, refreshment with all the actions never has end. So this incompleteness, again and again, again and again, ego everywhere. So this movable nature take us to place, to place, to place, to place, mind to mind, another mind, another mind. And that is kind of like a create a unsteady lifestyle. So then just imagine when the life itself unsteady, how you can be steady there. What you should do, because the very nature of life is that everybody, that is what everybody does, that is what the life. So then how you can be steady, how you can settle down, how you can be solid, how you can feel kind of like a rest little bit, how you feel security inside you, how you can be firm. So there is a way. That is why you have to practice this, some kind of spiritual things in day-to-day life and be closer to that. Because otherwise, this movable nature will take you everywhere around this universe. It has power to take you to any place in this. It takes always to seen, unseen places. You are a traveler. And even you don't know where the destination, you keep going, keep going, keep going. Physically the same, but more than the physically, the mentally. That's why in the Buddha mentioned in the Dhammapada, in that book, we see that about the very nature of the mind, Mano Pubbangama Dhamma, there is one verse there, Durangama Ekachara. Your mind go long journeys. Ekachara, just by yourself. No partners. So this journey, if you allow it to happen that way, you're always going to have unsatisfaction, fear, anxiety, depression, sadness, worry, because that is the feedback. So then how you can get out of this? So Buddha mentioned in the Buddha's teachings, whoever that want to find this steady, unmovable, solid state need to understand 4 things. So this one called 4 seal. 4 seal. It's kind of like a Buddha gave the permission. Take this. Granted. Like once it's sealed, like a king. When the king seal some document, it approved. So like immigration, you have the visa and you give to immigration officer, and before you enter into the country, he look at it and ask question, and permission granted to enter to the country. Welcome. And then, so like that, in whoever practiced Buddhism, There are four things that the Buddha gave the seal to know that yourself, wherever you go, there it's granted by the Buddha, and there is nothing beyond that. And once the Buddha granted it, no one can challenge for that. No one can deny, no one can argue about it, no one can challenge for that. Because that is it. It doesn't matter, maybe you like or no, it doesn't matter. But that is it. And when it comes to the Buddha, it is not something that he thought about like us. Oh, this is the way I think. No, what the Buddha understood, it's what is exist itself in this nature. Fundamentally, ultimate truth, what it is, as it is. Not a kind of like any idea. That is the fundamental truth. So then always reflect on this four seal. And once you develop, once you stand on and follow this four seal, and then it's become a shield to you, it's become a protection to you. So whatever comes, it protects, shield you. So what are these four seal? And another way called four summaries. So first one is impermanence. It's about everything. It's not only about something. So then always you have to reflect on that. Remember that. So then it becomes a kind of like a Dhammanupasana, contemplation of Dhamma, teachings. It's because sometimes what we're thinking about, contemplate on our own thoughts, ideas, viewpoints. So that's why we carry that personal views within us. Maybe thinking about somebody, oh, this person is bad, and whatever, again and again and again. Well, then by the time, it becomes real for us. And it is very difficult for us to get out of that mindset. Maybe thinking about something even regarding your own future again and again, what you think in your side, in your mind, then it is very difficult for you to get out of it. So rather than that, whatever, it doesn't matter, whatever you experience out of your perception, whatever you experience in your life, always remember, it is belong to impermanence. It cannot be permanent. So always, it doesn't matter good or bad, recognize that. And the second one is suffering. So whatever that we go through in this life, the very reality is the suffering. That is what belongs to all of us. That is where we all going to be equal in this conventional life. You and me, everybody, whoever lived in the past or whoever going to come in the future. We all look for refreshment. And we all have the deeper unsatisfaction regarding our own very existence, not about somebody else, very existence about myself, me. And in that incompleteness, in that incomplete state, in that unrest, unsettled, insecurity state, I am moving towards something looking for. And then I find something. In that very moment, I feel so good. That's where revitalizing get energized out of it. Maybe seeing something, hearing something, smelling, eating something, or maybe being with somebody, and maybe thinking about something. And then what happens? It just stay maybe few seconds, few minutes, maximum few hours, not days. Then again, it start to look for something. So then we moving here and there, going here and there, going. There is no end. So this suffering, this unsatisfactory nature is the true reality within all of us. So nothing wrong with it, but it is there. That is what we have to understand. It is within us. Because if you don't see that, you go crazy, and maybe you don't see that you are go crazy, but it makes other people's very hard, the life very hard. And then by the time ourselves, we get so tired about us, then we get kind of like disappointed, sad, worried, unhappy about us. We don't know from where it came. We have no idea why it happened to me like this, why I hate me, why I don't like me, why I kind of like have a disappointment about me. Can't find it. And then what happened? Maybe you start to disconnect from everything, and maybe you hate for everything, and you always have a kind of like anger for everything. So then the struggle go again and again and again and again. So ultimate truth in this whole suffering, once you recognize that, once you accept it, that acceptance take you to some kind of settle down. It slow down this movable nature. You take it kind of like it's okay. You don't kind of like resist. So the suffering, then you can't come with the kind of like idea, there is something. There's somehow, maybe 99.99999, suffering, but there's a one satisfaction. Like that, sometimes our mind, because sometimes we go cuckoo, with ourselves, with our own ideas. We go cuckoo, and that cuckoo, create a little crack inside us, and then believe, oh, this is good. Oh, this is good. So that take us to some kind of very difficult situation. Maybe entering it's look like good, but it is very difficult for us to get out. It's like a trap. So that's why suffering. There's nothing wrong with anything, but it's our own point of view. It's depend on our understanding. So the world is not kind of like a but the deeper the very nature of us, this unsatisfactory nature, incompleteness, always look for refreshment. As I mentioned from the beginning, each and every cell go through, want again and again and again. And then the third one is emptiness. So when it comes to emptiness, fundamentally, there are four things: heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness. And when it comes to the life, consciousness and space, 6 fundamental properties. Heat, motion, liquidity and hardness, space and consciousness. So then out of that, everything arises. And deeply, there is nothing solid. Everything empty. The appearance as name and form happen in our mind. So as an object, whatever exists in the outside, it is not the object for that object. What is that? So that is this. This cup is for me. When it perceived to me in my mind, I experience it as a cup. So for this cup, just imagine we all detach from this cup go into another planet or somewhere, no one around. So for this material thing, it is not a cup. It's its own nature itself, it is empty. It doesn't have any meaning, purpose, name, or color like that. Color, the purpose, meaning, everything arises when it contact with my consciousness. So it all arises in my consciousness, and that is where it becomes a cup to me. Otherwise, for this one, it is not a cup. So like that, this everything empty. For the heart itself, the heart doesn't have a heart. Liver itself, not a liver. For kidneys itself, not a kidney. Once it examine, investigate, categorize by consciousness, then we give a meaning to that heart, liver, kidney. So like that, this each and every cell has its own nature to go its own way. But what happened when it comes to our consciousness, in that consciousness, we give a name and form to that. That's where in the mind, names and form arise. But in the outside, there is no such a thing like that. So when it comes to the depth, this all doesn't have a permanent, concrete, unchangeable name or structure. This all change. That change happened because the bottom of this all, it's empty. And then just imagine when it comes to our life, it's all thoughts. What we experience in us. And sometimes we can't take it because it is very real. It is not, we can't say it is empty. No. When people get hurt, it is very real for them. When things happen and it's very bad for them, and sometimes they can't handle their own thoughts. When it can destroy their own life. And we can't tell, oh, it is your head. It's very difficult to understand when you are in a kind of like a movable, that kind of like a unrest situation you can't understand. So that's why in this condition, you have to remember that, and you have to reflect on that and know it. In the depth of the soul, it is empty. So then that seal, the permission regarding the Dharma, you accept it, and then it becomes a shield to you. It's going to protect you. Otherwise, sometimes it is very difficult for us. Whatever happens in our own mind, we can't see it. No one can help for that person. Day by day, we caught up in that illusion, thinking it is real. And then, but it is thought. It's empty. There's nothing inside, but we think it is real. So that's why reflect on it little by little. The fourth one, selflessness. There's nothing belong to you. Even this name and form that you carry as who you are not belong to you. Selflessness. There's no concrete, unchangeable, permanent self exist inside us or outside the world, connected to you. There's no such a thing like that. That's a seal. The Buddha granted it, permitted. And maybe somebody can agree, somebody not going to agree, but that is something. So then you have to think about it. What is that? Why Buddha said it like that way? And then look into yourself and go into deeper you and see if there is anything that you can find. So if you find it, Buddha going to become, disqualified, and then you become the Buddha. If you find something like that, you start a new journey. But if you don't find something, then you have to accept it. So that's why during the Buddha's time, there are many others claim as the Buddha. And then they believe they are as Buddhas. And then they challenge the Buddha sometimes. But the Buddha came with these things and selflessness. And some believed, maybe somewhere in the, when it attained to the high mental powers, absorptions, jhana, and sometimes you enter into mental state. It's kind of like eons by eons you live in your own mind, believing that is the end. But what the Buddha taught? No. Because it is the very result of mind, not something that out of the mind. So the very nature of the mind, it's depending from something. If you're depending from something, just imagine with basically about this body, water, sunlight, food, shelter, we all depending from these outside things. So if we are depending from outside, and just imagine the water always change, food always change, sunlight, the environment, the breathing always change. So these all changeable things manifest this moment, build up this life. So out of this all the changeable things, how the unchangeable something going to exist? Because where these changeable things help for something unchangeable, because it's solid, unchangeable, permanent, concrete. So then these changeable things cannot go there, cannot help it. If it is changeable, then you can harness with it, you can mix it with, you can blend with it. So that's why then, if there is an unchangeable, permanent, concrete self, you don't need this anything. You don't need to eat. You don't need to sleep. You don't need to rest. You don't need to work. You don't need the money. You don't need this anything from outside world. You don't need the air. Because you have something unchangeable. So then, why this all you need? Because you are depending from these changeable things, what does that mean? Then as you, whatever that experience inside you in this consciousness, also changeable. So that's why this selflessness, you can see when you deeply observe. So these four things. So if you practice, if you want to practice Buddhism, if you like to know the Buddha's teaching, and fundamentally, you have to remember to go into deeper with this four seal, and then recognize that. It's not about believing. There's nothing you can do just by believing. It's not going to bring anything because you believe that. As matured people, you all knows about it. Whatever you believe doesn't help for you end of the day. So that's why practicing impermanence, suffering, selflessness, emptiness, when you more and more understand this is very nature of you, what happens? When the tornadoes hit, when the tsunamis come, there's mental tsunamis, what will happen? You're not going to wash away from it. Why? Because you are more flexible. You know there's something. You can rest within yourself. There's no struggle in you because you accept the situation. You know that is the very nature of the world. That is the very nature of the life. And then it itself make you in this very moment, you are complete as who you are. There is no more things to add to yourself. There is no something from outside. You need to put it you to be complete as who you are. So in this very nature, in this very moment of existence, you are complete. So then your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, just being in the moment become the refreshment, not chasing, going and gaining something. You don't look for rejuvenation. You don't look for kind of like a revitalize to hold it to something. No, as who you are itself, you complete, you fresh. You don't need to refresh. You are already fresh. You vitalize. You have the energy itself. That is the power of being in the moment, come to the present moment. So then always remember, rather than keep running, forgetting who you are, just learn to settle down. Be as who you are. Just be wherever and as who you are. Settle down for a moment and learn to accept it, learn to be with it, and develop that step by step. When the storm hit, physically, mentally, you are strong to handle that situation. So that is become your spiritual practice. So with that, let's get into practice a little bit now. So your right palm on your left and naked straight in one line, and be comfortable with your posture. So scan head to toes yourself and say Swapateva, or may I be well and happy 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable, may my breath be more smooth, may no difficulties come to me, may all the success come to me. Also think for a moment, This is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime, and detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalation and exhalation. So in the beginning, deeply and gently, breathe in, breathe out 3 times and find the sensation, please. So settle down with the sensation of the breathing. If your mind move away, go away, bring it back again and again. Settle down with the sensation, do nothing extra. Bring attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also as far as you can through galaxies, other planets, the stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward. Visualize yourself and send it as a light. Your backside. Your left side. And to your right side. Downward. And upward. To all six directions at once, like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy, without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest, wishing yourself May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. Also by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata chami sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Imaya dhamma nudhamma patipattiya buddham pujemi dhammam pujemi sangham pujemi Addaya imaya patipattiya jati jara vyadi maranam ha paribunjisami Idhamme punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamunchatu. Bless you.